Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Think Outside the Box Office podcast. With me, as always, are my constituents. Today, we look to leap, creep, slide, and glide all the way back to 1988 for the Blob remake of the same name. The 1958 was the original. We're throwing it back to the 80s. Guys, I believe this is something we've seen plenty of times. Where are we on the scale with that?
I'll go first on this one, Derek.
Go ahead.
Nick, we had this growing up, like the VHS, I think, maybe even, definitely the DVD. We watched this countless times, man. This is like a true classic. When you picked this for October, I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, we're going hard in the paint on this one. Super cool creature feature. It's got a little body horror in it, right? It's got all the 80s cliches you could want. Great film. I love it. Derek, what about you, man?
I mean, I fell in love with it when I watched it. I came across it, I think, late one night, like on HBO or something, and it just sucked me in, like just like does everybody else. And it was a lot of fun to just watch it, kind of like terrorize it, like a small town, basically. Very, very retro, very 50s feeling, which I love. The gore was pretty awesome. The effects were awesome. All great work all the way around. It's a good movie.
I have to agree, right? Like, I try to think of bad things to say about it, and I truly don't have a lot, which I think is good. I feel like I'm typically more looking for the holes to poke in it, and this one's pretty bulletproof. Pretty bulletproof all the way around.
I think its worst qualities are probably like the typical 80s traits that I mentioned earlier, right? Like those are cool to have, right? Like, hey, it's a kind of a timepiece. But also, you know that it's a timepiece because of these cliches, like Rick being like the motorcycle leather jacket wearing like Sons of Anarchy wannabe, rebel kid, and he
Rick
kind of
Brian.
What'd you say?
Brian.
Yeah, what'd I say?
You said Rick.
You said Rick.
It's not The Walking Dead.
Bad.
It's not Rick Flag. It's Brian Flag.
Did I say Rick? That's weird. Yeah. Anyways, Brian.
Wrong flag.
And he's going for like kind of the chick who's like popular, but she's with the quarterback, and there's kind of some of that like whatever. They got to like team up and shit. But yeah, like super awesome film. I feel like it doesn't get enough love. It's a great creature feature. So,
I messaged Tyler about this earlier today when he said he liked it, which was also awesome. I feel like it's really underappreciated and underrated.
Absolutely.
I don't know why more people don't talk about it, to be honest with you. It's awesome. It's leagues above a lot of other horror movies that did well at that time.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And even coming, like, it's kind of hard to say coming off the success of The Thing, because at the time The Thing wasn't very successful. But even in hindsight, it came after The Thing, which was great body horror and sci-fi at its own. And this kind of follows in its own footsteps of being like something akin to it, but also its own standalone. And it was awesome. It felt great. It looked great. The direction was awesome. I think it's done by Chuck Russell, the guy who did Dream Warriors.
He did The Mask.
He did The Mask.
Yeah.
And Scorpion King, I think is what you said there.
Yeah. So it's like
crazy.
It was in good hands. Like, I think it was like a perfect storm, except for Matt Dillon's like hair. It was great, man. I loved it.
Kevin Dillon.
Good.
Right?
Kevin Dillon? Why did I say Matt Dillon?
Yeah.
Oh, man, we got to shit.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
I know we're both slacking. Damn.
We're in for a long episode.
I called him Rick, apparently. So, whatever.
Yeah, we watched the same guy twice.
Yeah, there was actually times I thought I was watching like a John Carpenter film, like because I kind of like chucked it in with like The Thing, and like I think we just watched The Fog not long ago, and so like I had trouble remembering this isn't John Carpenter, right? And obviously there's none of his staple actors in this one, but like yeah, I was like, this feels like someone could easily mistake this as a John Carpenter film. But like the dude who did it you said Dream Warriors, which is arguably one of the best fucking Nightmare on Elm Street movies. You know what I mean?
Even
The Mask is great. Scorpion King is whatever. Yeah, great movie. Super awesome film.
And even at the time where the 80s were coming to a close, the movie came out and did like awesome. Like came out, did pretty well. I think it was moderate hit, it definitely. See, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of reports where I kept hearing it, but I couldn't tell if that was like more recent interpretations of like, oh, it wasn't like a box office like smash, but it did well enough. It's all I kept coming across when I was looking for it, but
I thought when
the
I looked
numbers
up,
kind of prove different. But
I thought when I looked up the numbers, its budget is about 10 million, and that's from Chuck Russell. And I guess it
yeah,
grossed like
Oh,
eight and a
wow.
half million, so it didn't break even,
no,
which whatever. But like the thing, and even though there's some years between these two,
Yeah, for sure.
maybe that's just not what they were into then, like the body horror.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
like
Because both of those movies, well, more so the thing, I think, are fairly lauded now. Like people can
Oh, yeah.
appreciate
Yeah, yeah.
the work or the craftsmanship or whatever. Yeah, the disrespect around lack of conversation is kind of pisses me off, to be honest with you.
yeah, for real.
So 1988, this movie is directed by Chuck Russell, which you mentioned. It is co-written by Chuck Russell and Frank Darabont.
Frank Darabont. That's right. I saw
Frank
that.
Darabont, who people will know from shepherding The Walking Dead. They'll know his earlier works, Stephen King, big Stephen King guy, right? So Shawshank, Green Mile. He
The
did
Mist.
did the Mist
Yeah.
in the 2000s, right?
Mist.
All three solid films. Also, Shawshank, flop, mad appreciation now. So I don't know.
True.
I don't know where everybody's heads at back in the day, right? But it's up.
They
it's
clearly couldn't recognize greatness when they
didn't.
saw it.
It's up to us.
Yeah, apparently
to
all the plots were just
bring
sleeper
that.
hits.
Cool. Before we get into it, cool cast.
Yeah, it's cool cast.
Your leads are like pretty unknown, I think.
At that time, I think so.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
At that
sure.
time, right? So you mentioned Kevin Dillon, right? The lesser Dillon. To his brother Matt. Cool character. I liked his character.
Yeah, he's cool.
I didn't have any problem with picturing him as that kind of character. I think he did fine. Mullen and everything.
yeah, he did all right.
We have Shawnee Smith, who would go on to be a horror staple in the Saw franchise, playing
Yeah,
Meg Kenny. I won't go over everybody, but a Frank Darabont regular, Jeffrey DeMunn, right, as Herb Sheriff Herb Geller. It's gonna be a long episode, boys. Buckle up. I know there's some names that carry some weight. Joe Seneca as Dr. Meadows. I guess he was a big deal.
Yeah, he's done some things, I think.
For the anime fans, Bo Billingsley plays Moss Woodley, who is the shop fixing up the ice things, borrowing the ratchet sets. I know him. He voices Jet Black in Cowboy Bebop. He is a huge anime.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, shitload of credentials in anime. I know. Isn't it crazy? I didn't know what he looked like, but I knew the name. So yeah, for the anime fans out there, that's
wild. That's
Bill
cool.
Moseley. Bill Moseley is the soldier in the sewer who's like
The Chop
dying
himself.
and then actually dies. Yeah.
Wait, which guy is he?
He's the soldier
He's the
in
one that
sewer
catches him in the sewer.
they borrow his bazooka to get out.
Blow the manhole cover up.
Yeah.
That's Bill Moseley?
It's Bill Moseley.
Yeah.
Soldier
very
like
brief, but-
2 as he's credited.
Like
Look
Rob
at you.
Zombie's Bill Moseley?
Yeah.
No, probably a different one. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. My bad. I'm stupid. Sorry.
A lot of Mosleys in that clan.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But other than
I didn't
that, a couple faces you'll recognize, if you are a cinephile like us, right? But so tell me what this is about. Give me the synopsis.
Okay. The Blob. This is a little different than the remake, or this is a little different than the original, but kind of the same like undertones or whatever the fuck. In a nutshell, a meteorite has crash landed. Does it ever say what town they're in? Does it ever give the town a name? Oh,
Yep. Colorado.
It's well, yeah, but like, is there ever a town? I don't know. Whatever, doesn't matter.
It's like
Crash lands in a
Farmerville
small
or something.
town.
Yeah, some shit.
Homeless guy goes digging around in it, right? Sucks his hand up, and he's like, what the fuck? And then like, Rick Flag finds him, takes him to a hospital.
Dude, it's Brian.
God damn, why I keep calling him Rick Flag? What the fuck? Like, my bad, yo. Yeah, I cannot get that out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Smith, the jock, they take him to the hospital. Goes from there, right? Chaos ensues in this small town. Yeah, super simple plot. Like, and actually, I just watched Phantoms today, Derek. And it's like another small Colorado town, kind of like isolated, from everything for this event to happen, and then like outer forces got to come and like take it over or whatever. Super simple plot. It does evolve itself a little bit from the original Steve McQueen version, but a very typical horror movie's plot, nothing crazy. Small town horror, something crazy happens, right? Forces got to come together to like handle it or whatever. Super cool. I thought it was super cool.
I think it avoids a lot of. So you say typical. I actually think it avoids a lot of the typical plot beats. One of them, you mentioned the jock. Did you guys? And we've seen this for a long time, so I don't remember having this thought. Like the term, we'll call it the Terminator 2. Did you guys think Paul was going to die as early, be like killed too, or did you think he was going to be the hero? As I guess he was kind of they kind of led that through like marketing, like Brian was supposed to be because it is Brian. It's supposed to be like the deuterotagonist maybe or something. What do they call it?
The hero.
Paul and the jock is supposed to like lead them out, and then he gets it second in a super cool death.
Yeah, he does.
Did you remember having any sort of like, what, he's died? What? Like,
I remember being pretty shocked when he got it, just in the sense of like, by the time, like, because there's kind of like the little steps that lead up to his death. He kind of like sees it. Like the homeless guy, they take to the hospital because he gets injured from the blob and also hit with a car, I think. They take him there. And when they take him there, the blob like absorbs like half of his body. So like all that's left is like a torso. So he sees this, the thing's like, I think, creepy crawling around on the roof, but he's like following it. And then it gets him from behind the door. I actually, like, I didn't think he was going to get it that early on, but like as soon as I saw the clues, I was like, oh, he's going to get it. Not knowing though that in the original, that was kind of like the premise, like it's like the boyfriend's like, oh, I'm here to like fight this thing and save the town kind of crap. But I definitely thought it was a really good kill, because at first I was like, oh, it just blobbed him, just like right on top of him. And then you see it like pulling back his flesh. It's decomposing as it's doing it. He's like reaching out, asking for, screaming through help through the like gelatinous wall. Shawnee Smith goes to grab him, and his arm just melts right off.
Arm off. Yeah, it's crazy.
And I've seen that. I was like, holy shit, that was insane. Like, it just blew my mind. So I was thoroughly impressed with kind of how they did it. Not shocked that he died first, but I was impressed.
So his kill is cool. On a lesser note, I don't like, you said the roof. I imagine that means the ceiling. I don't love that, like, nobody looks up. Like, these aren't like vaulted 12-foot ceilings. Like, so I don't like the notion that like everyone only sees as high as this, because I was like, look up, what are we doing? Even if I don't know, that's something that like kind of bugged me. But when he is getting killed, that the mass is like escaping out the window. Like, you see the blob like 4 feet stretched out as it's like pulling Paul.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's really him under there. If you've read anything about it, that's really him under like a film or like whatever. And I guess Shawnee Smith, that's a pretty natural reaction to her. So I don't know if she was led to believe it was going to be like a dummy or whatever, but that's really her like, Paul, what the fuck? Yeah, pulling off the arm. We don't get a lot of I wouldn't call it body horror in those first 2 kills, right? Like, it kills the hobo off screen. Paul just kind of gets like been succulated out the window or whatever and into it. But it's a fucking cool setup for what you're about to get. You get a really good notion of what this thing can do right off the bat.
Well, like on that, I think the knowing what's coming starts with the homeless guy when Paul pulls back the blanket and fucking half his whole bottom half's gone, right? And I know Paul's death is like 35 seconds after that or whatever, but like that right there, you're like, holy shit! Like, this thing fucking ate. Well, it went from his hand and then somehow ate his bottom half. So unless his hand was like resting on his,
I think that he was just laying down, hand at his side, and so it just worked.
Because he was kind of like nesting it, whatever. But I wasn't fooled by Paul's death. Like, I was never under the assumption like this guy is gonna be the hero we all wanted. Like, I was just like, okay, I could see him dying. Like, once you introduced Brian, not Rick, as like your bad boy motorcycle guy, then you have the cheerleader with the quarterback. I was like, okay, this is easily going to be these two from 2 different cliques in the school. I think Rick fucking did it again. I think Brian is like, he says some line like, you haven't talked to me in 4 years of high school and now you want to whatever, like, so if you didn't have that assumption that they were going to team up there, that's like the ultimate line of like, well, now we have to. And like, whoa, But yeah, it's super cool. What's the next death after
From
the jog?
Paul, we go straight to killing his buddy.
Is that where it goes?
I believe so. Yeah, because they're up on like a hilltop and you see him.
Okay.
Going up
Yeah.
it.
Like
Before we get into, I think his name is Steve, and if not, we're just going to continue fucking up names.
The date rape guy. Yeah.
The date rape guy. I love. It's not a comedy, right? Obviously, but their bit in the drugstore is awesome. Like where goes in and he's like, I got to get some condoms. I got this date. And Paul's like, hurry the fuck up, man. I also have something I'm doing. Right. And he approaches the counter. And I guess he doesn't also know that that's Johnny Smith. It's Johnny Smith's dad, played by Art LaFleur, right. Character actor, Sandlot, Santa Claus films, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool guy. Gets approached by the Reverend. Bad timing. And he's got to like dig his way out of it by like pawning it off on his buddy. And then that comes full circle, right? Like when he goes to pick up Meg and he's like, they're chilling with the condoms, you know? He's like, rib.
Yeah.
Neat little scene, right? Like, again, like just a cool, before we get into like real depth, because no one's dead at this point, like super, super neat, like balance of shit, I guess.
Yeah.
But we get into,
it's a fun little thing, man.
Get into Steve's death, or maybe it's Scott. I don't know, fucking date raper,
whatever it is.
I think this is one of the coolest kills because we see real shit.
Yeah. If not the coolest, this is definitely might be my favorite because like he's such a fucking sleaze, you know, and like he's like that like gum smacking dude, you know, like always has like, yeah, well, you know, whatever. And like,
yeah,
you know, he's got a fucking like cocktail bar in the back of his trunk, you know, full of fake shit and that shit. Like this guy fucking deserved like what happened to him. And but like that's my favorite kill. I mean, dude, right? Like trying to mac on the chick, she's like passed out. It's got that cool the Blob point of view where it's like lurking through the grass, you know what I mean? And which is weird really because cool. It actually goes through Paul's door to get to her because his door's the one that's open.
Scott.
Dude, I'm fucking terrible. What's with his names on this episode, man? I'm fucking sucking. Date raper guy goes through his door.
I mentioned this to Derek though too. Yeah, like this is one of the nitpicky points. Is like it does for something that burns everything it touches, which seems to be the like the acidic whatever. It
There's
would
no fucking trail,
some sort of trail. It would have had to crawl into his car, over his seat, and then get in Vicky because it's not like it's chilling in Vicky's lap. Right. So it's like in her or something, which is weird, and it so must act really fast. It's got the thing beat, right? Like the thing takes forever,
for sure.
But what a super cool fucking way to do it, right? Like because he cool. Like this guy sucks, and he gets his comeuppance or whatever, just desserts, whatever you want to call it, going in for the Mac, and boy, it's the last time he's going to do that.
All right, when Vicky like mutates and she decides to like go all like thingy and the tentacles and stuff start coming out and going onto him and latch onto him, that was very much body horror. Like seeing that, like her face cave in and all the blood go out and then like the things start coming out and he's just like, oh, Vicky, oh. It was awesome. It was a good scene, but yeah, you definitely have a lot of other cool ones, but that one was definitely by far the creepiest. Like you're there was nothing there. It was a person, and then it fucking shapeshift and came out your face. So that always stood out more to me than it just like blobbing around and like grabbing people.
I agree.
But it was creepy.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, my favorite death in the whole movie. So, and I told Jackson because Jackson watched this with me, and after that scene happened, like he was like, "Oh my god," and I was like, "That's why you don't take advantage of girls, my friends, because shit like that happens." So
that's a good
evil exists.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, super
this
cool.
Is clearly a dude who had done it before too. Do you like notice all the rings and shit? You know, like
I feel bad he was kind of pro at it apparently.
Yeah,
which is disturbing.
I wonder how he gets the alcohol in. Like he's not of age. Like he's got to have some way. I'm assuming the drinking age is still 21 back then. So I mean,
yeah, it turned 21 back in '84, and if it's real time, it would be '88. Yeah, he would have to be 21.
Maybe it's one of those like he looks like he probably drives daddy's car, you know, probably parents are away on like ski vacations and they just leave him at home to like fuck off and become a total fucking putz and you know, maybe he just steals from
when he walks into like the pharmacy and he meets the dad. He's just like, "Hey man, just go ahead and give me some rubbers and something else. And the dude's just like, fucking kid, like, God damn it. So you already know he has that kind of like way about him. But yeah, good to see him just get his comeuppance.
From there, we get to, I guess at this point it's just Shawnee Smith trying to.
It goes to the sewers.
Goes to the sewers. This is how it gets into town.
Right.
We get a lot of Shawnee Smith trying to plead her case and like stop having everybody fucking call her crazy. I think somewhere along the lines we're introduced to her little brother and Eddie. R.I.P. to Eddie.
Kevin and Eddie, I believe.
Kevin and Eddie, a dynamic duo. They are planning to go to a movie, a big R-rated. This is actually kind of a neat, like what the film they end up going to see, even though it's not a real film, right? Like,
I thought
no, it's like
I thought the fake movie in this
it played right into the 80s, like
super awesome. Yeah. Super cool.
I think of Derek every time I see this scene. I think of Derek, just like hockey mask guy. This is it.
Wait, hockey season ended months ago.
Yeah. I love that they played that up like that, like for this film.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Eddie dies, and we'll get there in a second, but I'm kind of thinking he deserved it. Motherfucker is wearing headphones in the theater. What's he doing?
Yeah. Well, when you first meet him, he's sitting there jamming almost the whole time. Like, even when they go out, like his mom or like his friend's mom might be like, "Bye, Eddie." And he's like, "Oh, hi."
Yeah, he does.
So he definitely just wears them all the time in the theater. I don't know why. He was just boasting about how they're going to go see this slice and dice picture, and then literally just wears headphones the whole time. Who his brother's also the usher, who again is coming to him. So he comes up to him and he's just like, flashing him with a flashlight, like, "You need to shut up. You're going to get me in trouble." That dude behind him won't shut the fuck up the entire movie. And I was like, why don't you hit him with the light and tell him to shut up? Like, Jesus, it was terrible.
I wondered that too. And I think even, like I said, I watched this with Jackson. Even Jackson was like, why didn't he say something to the guy that's talking even louder about this right behind him? My only conclusion was that, like, when he says that to Eddie, like, shut the fuck up or mom will get us in trouble. Like, he would get in trouble for letting a minor in the movie.
I think it's
because he's like, you'll get us both in trouble or something. So to me, I was like, well, I guess he cares more about Eddie being underage than maybe just actually doing the talking. It didn't make sense to me either, because if I were there and if I were Kevin, because I think Kevin's the one that turns around and tells a dude like shut up or whatever, I absolutely would be like, dude, shut the fuck up, man. Like, I don't need a fucking narrator during this, hockey slasher or whatever the fuck film we're watching. Like, dude, I absolutely would be pissed. And just like you said, the date rapist guy gets it. We're coming up on the death of the dude that's interrupting the movie. He fucking earned it too, man. Yeah, I'll take him. You're not gonna be missed.
Yeah, for real. Dude, if that ever happened in real life, I would probably turn around and just fucking deck the dude. Be like, God, you're just shut up. Like, you're driving me insane. But that was so obnoxious. I don't know how nobody else was like hitting him with something. Even the chick next to him was like,
she doesn't say one thing.
She's cool with it.
No.
Yeah. She's like, spoil it.
She's like, go. Yeah, spoil the whole movie for me while we're at it. Not like we're watching it right now.
For real.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. You said Kevin is the one who addresses that guy. So poor Eddie literally is just there watching, and he's the one getting dumped on by his brother. Like, get your fucking feet off. Like, doesn't he?
He's like, what a wimp.
He doesn't say anything, and he's the one out of the two that do have a conversation. He's the one that gets dogged on. Like, I'd be like, hey, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm listening to Master of Puppets. Fuck off. Like, whatever.
Right. Master of Puppets. Maybe Eddie, maybe he couldn't hear the guy because of the headphones. Like,
that's true.
So he's like, not only is he lip syncing a whole movie, right? And then he doesn't even hear what's going on behind him. But if your friend is consistently turning back, I would be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe he heard it and he was like, fuck that noise, and just put his headphones on.
He had the headphones on because of that guy. I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
Can we take a second to acknowledge two things here about Kevin and Eddie? And I think we're coming up on it, so I'm not like jumping ahead or anything. And I think we've talked about this on an episode before in the past about, in a lot of these movies, we're used to seeing these guys are high schoolers, right? Not Kevin and Eddie, but like the other people, Shawnee Smith and not Rick Flag. They are high schoolers. We're used to seeing these guys get killed through endless horror movies, and that's fine. So when you have younger kids, Will they not die? Most of the time they don't, right? So in this movie, they set you up with Kevin's jacket, right? Like he can't, it's stuck, mom. Dude, they're running out of the theater, right? Blob, we said, takes the loudmouth in the back, right? Just sucks him up. And then like, oh my God, chaos ensues, right? They're escaping with the sister. Kevin's jacket gets shut in the door as the blob's like popping out the like hinges to like get to him. You think he's gonna get it, right? He doesn't. Surprise, right? Gets the jacket off, whatever. They enter the sewers. We'll talk about that in a second. But then it gets Eddie, like, and like it takes him under, and then he does that like last minute scare where he like comes up and he's like, "Whoa," and then like goes back under. Dude,
Yeah.
like I remember as a kid, like, holy shit, like it actually killed that kid. Like, whoa,
That
that's
one
not,
does stick out. You're right.
it's not something you really get in a lot of these movies. Most of the time it just scares a kid or like they close encounter. But dude, it like takes him under and gets him. I was like, oh my God, like that'd be fucking scary, dude. That scared the shit out of me. I don't know
Yeah.
about you guys.
Well, when you think about it realistically, like that Blob is not going to be like, oh, it's a kid, I'm not going to fuck with that. Like, no, Blob's going to take whatever it can.
Right.
And so realistically, it fits. But like as like a human
for
being,
sure. Yeah.
Like as a human being, we're definitely like, oh man, like the kid should live. It's kind of hard for do that, even if it's a movie or whatever. Me personally, I say do it. Like that.
Yeah,
That's what
I
sells
agree.
the terror. Is like, dude, that thing's eating kids. Like obviously, it doesn't care what it's coming after. It's come after you. And just in general, if they kill kids in movies, like I'm not like yeah pro murder or anything like that, but it's just like it definitely it hits harder, and you're like, whoa, you have way more shock to a movie if they do it, and they
I agree.
definitely pull it off.
It's just like there's something about subverting expectations that make you pay attention to the film, and so when you think like they're about to make it, although they're not putting much fucking hustle into it, by the way, you can. They know where the
Yeah.
blob is coming from. Like, why aren't you running forward? Like, they're just like, we better tread fucking lightly. And sure enough, it comes up from the one place it should have behind them. So I was like, guys, put a little pep in your step, right? A little hitch in your giddy up. Get on out of there. Maybe Eddie would have lived, but it does grab Eddie. But it does. So this kind of poses a question. So it grabs Eddie. It's right behind him. Sucks Eddie in. Shawnee Smith goes back in for him. This marks the second time she avoided an encounter with the blob. Paul is right in front of her getting sucked the fuck out a window. The blob doesn't go after her. She dives back in maybe more than once. Like it has to be down there. It's capable. Like we just saw it drop on theater patrons in a really cool, like no bias, just picking and plucking, like everyone in the theater that can get, right? Pretty cool. We see it kill in mass. We know what it's capable of. It's big enough.
Oh, it's huge.
But and so it has to be bigger by the time it gets down there. But she goes straight down looking for him and nothing. Now we do get a cool like action shot of the blob kind of like coming up in like attack mode, we'll call it, I guess. First of what would kind of be a couple of these. And then it has a moment with her, right? Is she not going to make it? Will she be around for Saw? But she somehow gets out. Brian Flagg shows up in the nick of time. Shows up in the nick of time with the bike.
Okay.
That he got fixed up, by the way. Somehow. He's a hell of a mechanic because that
In
bike
the
would
dark.
be wrecked from that jump.
In the dark. I don't think he had a flashlight.
All he needed was ratchets, by the way. He fixed his bike with just ratchets.
Just give me your 12-piece ratchet set. I'll get it done.
Yeah. Hey, so how about hey, Moss, how about the ratchets here? And he's just like, God damn it, Brian. So he shows up to save her. I'm gonna fall back real quick. So you talk about this little town. One of the things it tries to make you think briefly is that this town is like kind of ghost towny, but then you actually find out it's more of like the faculty where everybody's just super involved in the football games. But there's a lot of dialogue or a fair amount of dialogue, I think, in the diner when we meet Sheriff hitting on the waitress. It seems like this town has a winter surplus like populace, like it's a tourist spot.
So it makes money.
We don't get that. Like obviously we're not there, but they talk about how this town comes to life every winter. We see a couple of like ski stuff. Moss is fixing up the snow machines and shit in the shop. So that's kind of cool. It would have been neat, like a winter scene. I guess that would defeat the blob. Obviously, the blob wouldn't be there. Man, if the Blob had landed in the dead of winter, game over.
Or in Antarctica.
Game over.
For real.
Like, it's crazy that they landed in a place that just happened to be snow-free or whatever.
Well, even if he landed like a week or two later, it's seemingly because he was like, tour season's fucking right around the corner. I'm fixing these up. Like, and whatever's gonna be big this year, I can feel it. If it had landed like a week or two later, apparently when this snow is may or may not come, yeah, absolutely would have landed, froze right there on the spot. But then it would have just like thawed out in the spring or something. I guess, like, I don't know, but
now if that hobo had anything to do with it,
yeah, right, for sure.
He'd have recycled it like all those cans he was going for.
Which, by the way, I think so. Going to the hobo thing real quick, I actually think I didn't catch it the first time I watched it. This time I did catch it, but he actually has like a shack behind.
Yeah.
Just like in the original, he has like a shack behind. I just thought he was a dude roaming the freaking woods for cans. I definitely would say that the movie improves on what the original did.
Oh, for sure.
But is there anything that kind of stands out that you wish was in the remake as opposed to what actually wasn't or was?
No. I think the remake improves on the original in a lot of areas. So much so that there's like bad human characters in the remake, which we'll get to, right? The dudes in the hazmat suits, we'll get there in a minute. But like the original doesn't have that. It's made in like fucking 58 or something.
Okay.
So in those times, it's pretty black and white. Like you got your good guys, you got your bad guys, except this film, there's no bad guys. It's just, there's a blob, right? But like, I think the homeless guy is in the original. Like, I think that starts like gets a homeless dude, Steve McQueen and his chick, maybe hit him with the car even, and then like take him to a hospital. And I think that kind of plays out. The diner scene in the remake, the original, the diner scene is like the climax. Like everything happens at like the diner or whatever.
That's right.
This one was just like a quick, I don't know, we're spending 15 minutes at the diner maybe, and all 15 minutes were better than anything the original had. Like there's cool deaths, right, with the barback guy or like the dishwasher and like different stuff. The remake vastly improves on everything the original did. Like even making the blob scarier, right? Character development, all that stuff, 100% improvement.
But they're not like a ski town or anything, or
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Not from what I remember. I think it's just like some small 50s town, but they defeat it the same way. Like you got to use cold, but they
CO.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they use something in the original that freezes it, but not quite like
probably like liquid nitrogen truck, I think.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't remember.
And this, it's like a snowmaker, which kind of going back to that now, I think Flag actually mentions that like their seasons actually have been kind of dry.
Right.
And that they may or may not get it, but of course the dude chomping on a cigar, working on he's it's gonna happen. I can feel it in my bone. Which is cool. But it definitely fixes the problem of like, well, how do you freeze it? Like how do you freeze it nowadays? Like how would this town have the capacity to freeze something that big or that massive, especially in this modern day kind of like remake? So it's cool to see them kind of take that approach.
I don't know if there's any really real believability on the ending of the remake with like the truck exploding and freezing the blob and only the blob, but then turns like the whole environment into like a winter thing. I was kind of like, eh. Well, and like, so he said he had several of these machines, like 4 or 5 of them or whatever, right?
He's fixing
like if you had all 4 or 5 of them explode simultaneously, okay, we can play with that. But you had one and it turned the whole fucking blob, which is huge at this point, into like ice crystals, and then they're like, we better scoop it up before dawn. Like, is it gonna take that long to thaw? Like, you better fucking get on that, man. Like, everyone in town,
it would have started melting.
If you miss one piece is all you need to miss for it to fucking take you over. So I was like, I don't know that I buy it, but it's cool, for sure, like of its time.
I also don't know. I don't want to like get to the end, but like I also don't know how like the Reverend gets it at the end. Does he just pocket it? Like, because he was like flash burned. He was in the church still, I think. So I don't know how he got a piece of it.
He goes to the freezer.
He goes to
at the diner because he sees it goes down that manhole, and he's like, Jesus, God in heaven, or like whatever. Which, okay, so real quick, he goes to the diner, which has been broken out of because Flag and Shawnee Smith were in the freezer. And so he grabs the meat hook and I think he breaks out. But like that would have just had to have happened. And there's no way the Reverend walking down the street wouldn't have seen or heard them breaking out of this diner. Whatever, not the point. But he sees it goes down. He goes and checks it out, opens the freezer door, which might be left open, sees the like 4 or 5 purple kind of crystally rocks, and just like pockets it, I guess, knowing that it's part of the blob or assuming. And then he just has that with him when he gets like burnt and shit, and then at the end or whatever, which we'll get there. But yeah, I don't know. I guess
that's even worse then. Because it would have melted in his pocket, plus he got caught on fire, which would have cooked it.
Well, like, what if he didn't grab those and like the freezer thawed, and then you have another blob creature or something, right? Like, I mean, could have been a cool what if. I don't know.
I just thought he got it like from the mass pile of fucking crystals, but okay.
Before we move on from the diner, let's talk about this because I skipped over it with the sewer sip. Brian is picked up for Paul's murder because he was a witness, and like Deputy Briggs is like, this is our fucking guy, and he's trying to lean on Brian a little bit. Like there's I guess some hints of like maybe Brian's mother isn't like around a lot or something. I can't tell if he's just trying to rile him up. We don't get any notion of Brian's family or anything.
Right.
But he's like, you don't even know where your mom is, like one of those things. And he's just like unfazed. Brian leaves the police station on foot, literally walks down the block. It's just the block. The diner's right there. So when the sheriff was hitting on the waitress earlier, he's like, I'll be at the station if you need me. Bitch, you can walk there. And she's like, I'm off at 11. I'm not kidding. He literally walks down the fucking block and then he cuts the street over to the diner. It's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So he goes to the diner post, not bail, but like release or whatever. They're closing up shop. The waitress is still chilling. She got her fried cook, whatever, line cook in the back, right? Johnny Smith approaches him, having known about, right, obviously seeing Paul get like, right? So this is where Chris starts to hate it, where they have to team up, even though it's not that big a deal. They're not falling in love.
I didn't say I hate it. I just said it like it's very typical. What?
She recruits the only person to help her that she knows has seen this thing.
Right.
And he's just like, I just want to eat my fucking sandwich. And he's kind of dogging on her. Like, he's like, you off your meds or whatever, like.
Are you on something?
She's super, yeah, are you on something, right? She's pissed. The blob gets in the sewer line, or gets in the water line, or the drain, right? We get this in one of the other fucking cool scenes. Dude, he starts to plunger, the line cook starts to like be the man and like plunger this thing out, which doesn't seem sanitary that it's just a real plunger in the sink, but okay. Sticks his hand down there, rubs out a little bit of the shit before he's like, what the fuck? This thing full fucking snatches his face out the drain and starts pulling this dude in. I mean, crushing your head, you're obviously dead in seconds, but like, or less. It pulls him down into the fucking plumbing. This is a gnarly fucking scene.
This is awesome.
This is a scene where pretty much everybody this is a movie where everybody reacts, I think, the way they should when they see shit going down. It obviously alerts the other three, right? Brian, Meg, and
like Franny goes in and she goes hysterical almost
like, holy
immediately.
Shit. Yeah, they start freaking out. We get another cool fucking scene of it, like pulling him in, busting pipes, blowing out, and then starts doing its attack mode. They got to like stave it off. They escape to the freezer, which we just mentioned. And we get our first bit of like, okay, they're safe in the freezer. It doesn't like cold. Okay, cool. Franny, front door's locked. So she busts out a window into an alley. This is where it's like, it's behind you. And again, the sheriff's station is down the street, woman. Down the street. But she goes to the phone booth to call the guy who's down the street. She's looking for Sheriff Herb Geller.
I didn't think about that.
And Derek, you mentioned
like
this.
A block away.
She has a hard fucking time in this phone booth. She's got to like seal it up. She got to get a quarter. She misdials at first, like it doesn't go through. By the time she does get through, the blob is on her. What do you guys think of her kill? Because she dials for the sheriff, and then his face you see that he's got it. And I was like, oh fuck. What do you guys think of how it kills her? Did you guys like this? Because I think it was like not like a miniature, but like a less than real size booth that they put like a double in and filmed it or whatever. Did you guys like this?
It's a super cool kill. Like you said, she goes to like call the dude, and I think she gets through finally, and the chick is like, "Oh, Keith's not here. I don't know where he's at." And
He
then
just
like
went to the diner, which is how he died.
you see his face like when someone's up against glass, and it's like, like fucking smearing down or up this glass, and she's like, wow. And like I think Jackson was like, "Is that the sheriff?" Because first time I saw it, I always thought it was the line cook. And then I think you see the badge, right? The Sheriff Woody, like whatever. And then so you're like, oh fuck. And then it's gonna happen. Like she's holding all the corners and like, oh my God. And like it's encompassing this thing. But the way, cause I think it's like an overhead view, it like crushes through that glass and just fucking like a tidal wave, just like fills up the booth. And I'm assuming takes the whole fucking booth with her. Like it's a super cool kill. It piggybacks off of the super cool line cook kill. Like it's like a 2-for-1 almost. You know what I mean? Like super awesome.
Diner
I said
2-for-1.
I said the date rapist guy. I said that was my favorite. But this and the line cook are the coolest films or the coolest deaths in the whole movie. I think
they're definitely the most brutal.
Oh
like, first off, that's like some real Pennywise shit to be like yanked down a drain, but to be doing it in such force, like when first you see it, it's like, oh, it's brutal. But then by the time they get to him, he's got like a hand and a foot still hanging out, coming down the drain. Like that's just like disturbing as all hell. Blood popping out the pipes and everything else. Very Evil Dead too. As for the girl in the phone booth, though, like I thought it was all right. Like I thought the reveal of the sheriff was kind of like, oh man, you're right there, like right around the corner, and you got it. And then with her, talking on the phone, and you hear the phone start to like kind of get dissolved because like the voice on the other end gets like swallowed up by the blob too. Yeah. But to see it, like, I thought it was just gonna like full on crush her, not break through it and like take over, which was like really creepy. But interesting done. But if that was a miniature or like something of the like, it convinced me. I didn't think that. I thought it was like they actually put somebody in a booth and then just fire hosed a bunch of blob into there and see what happened. But
I think the killing of the sheriff is another one of those intentional, like the guys that are supposed to be good guys and we think they're going to be the heroes. It's another one where like they kill them and they take them off the table where maybe your initial reaction is like, well, Jesus fuck, who's going to save the day? Brian on the bike?
Yeah.
But it's from there that the Reverend sees the blob moseying on down back into the sewer. And he's like, holy Jesus effing Christ. Scoops up some blob bits in a very convenient little like glass jar that's right there next to them. Why it would be in a freezer? Because it's glass.
Why? Yeah. I think he picks it up off the floor. So it's 100%. Like, oh, it was just sitting on the floor by the freezer, ready to be used. That's crazy. Like, whatever. Well, and then the sheriff thing, we all like the actor, Jeffrey DeMunn, right? Like he's kind of likable in everything he's in, right? So you hate that you realize he got killed. B, it's off screen. So you're like, motherfucker, I didn't even get to see it, right? And then like C, it's very typical, and it's kind of one of these traits I was talking about that I don't hate, just to be clear, that in all of these small town horror movies, Phantoms included, like I just said I fucking watched today, the sheriff is always somehow in the group of survivors or whatever. Think 30 Days of Night. Fucking small town, Josh Hartnett doesn't get turned into a vampire. Well, I mean, he does at the end, but like he's part of the hero. So you think the sheriff might be a hero in this, maybe even team up with that goddamn Brian Flagg who just is a punk ass in town and everyone knows it. You know what I mean? And he's about to become legal, so he'll be in the major leagues here soon, just like he says. But like he gets killed and you're like, oh shit. Like, well, I guess it is up to Mr. Sons of Anarchy there to like take this thing out.
Wait, so who's in Sons of Anarchy? Or is that, you just
I just because he's on the motorcycle and he's got like the leather.
I thought you were implying Deputy Briggs was in that, and I was like, what?
No, sorry.
No, I get what you're saying now. You're right, because he's Mr. Harley Davidson. He does ride. His motorcycle is a Triumph motorcycle, which was the same ones that Steve McQueen used. So I don't know. That's cool. I guess that's like a ode to him or what have you. He just looks more high schooler than Steve McQueen did at that age in that movie.
for sure.
Like a 40-year-old.
Yeah, but the sheriff does vouch for Flag. I mean, he's the one that let him go. Like, he made the call
For
to let
sure,
him off.
yeah.
So I think even if that team up were to happen, that's fine. Like, it would have been a
yeah,
cool
for
like
sure.
character development for both of them to be like, I got to work with the other one,
Right.
Because Brian turns to Briggs later on for some help, and Briggs is on the fence because it's like, well, fuck, it's Brian. I should just shoot him now. But these military guys are also like crossing the line or whatever.
Yeah, let's dive into that. Let's get into the bad guys of this movie here, right? Do we get a name or like an acronym wherever they're from? Do they like CDC or fucking WHO or
I think
something
they're
like
just
that?
like a nameless government
Yeah, they're
agency.
just some kind of like biological containment unit or whatever. So they show up, I think first at the site where the meteor landed, right? In the woods.
So we meet him, yeah.
And
Post sewer. So we're right here.
I don't remember if they'd gotten a call yet. Brian Flagg kind of implies later on that they just like had showed up, right? Because of the reason that we're about to get to. So these guys show up, they preach they're the good guys, they're going to quarantine the town and they're going to take care of this thing. And then lo and behold, we find out that not only are they have ill intentions, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, they are responsible for the blob being as it is, right? So they sent bacteria into space and it stayed there for what, like 4 years? Became a fucking gelatinous thing and then came back to Earth. Oh, mutated. Okay, that's a good word for it. Mutated, came back to Earth, crash lands, and now it like devours and encompasses everything that it touches. Am I right so far? Like, is that like what they said? Okay, right, whatever. I guess I'll buy that. I don't know that I fully believe that because it's like straight up in like a fucking space pod like thing. The top is all like kind of looks like it's got like rock or like meteorite kind of whatever, but the bottom is definitely like metal, right? They pull it out of the thing.
Well, his like
Yeah.
the guy that tries to grenade it before getting smashed at the end, he has dialogue that implies this was when it came back, they were going to use it as like a biological weapon. He's like, this will put us years ahead of the Russians.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They kind of had some knowledge. Plus, that explains how they got there so quick. And I think Brian mentions that. How the fuck did they get here so quick? Like, how would they know? Who phoned it in, right?
They were tracking it.
They were tracking it, yeah. But yeah, we get Dr. Meadows, he's Joe Seneca, whatever, going through his like atypical government spiel of like, we're here to help.
Oh, yeah.
And Brian has to be the guy that's like, are you though? Like, what's
Brian's the one that always questions authority. So as soon as a new authority showed up, he's like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Spaceman, what are you gonna do? Huh? This thing's a big son of a bitch."
Take that helmet off.
So it's interesting for him to kind of start poking and prodding those guys as soon as they come because of that reason. But like you said, Dr. Meadows kind of like still puts on that front, but like, nah, we're here to help.
Well, and it kind of like he uses the chip on his shoulder he has with mainly Deputy Riggs, but like the sheriff, whatever the fuck his name was, Jeffrey DeMunn, like these authority figures who are always kind of like busting his nuts and like whatever. The first guys that show up, he starts like giving some pushback or whatever. But like it's been set up the whole movie that his pushback is ultimately what's going to lead him to finding out these guys aren't who they say they are, right? Now, if it turned out it was they actually are good, they're here to help and like whatever, and he was pushing back, okay, then yeah, you're just like a punk ass, like you just hate authority. But like it served as like his crutch to figure out what was going on. And then of course, they play that card like, well, don't listen to this guy because he is trouble all the time and he's probably just started shit. But that's when you said Riggs sticks up for him, which I thought was super cool. You know what I mean? Like I think Flag has his gun at someone. There's like 5 guns at him. And as soon as he says shoot him, Riggs, who also has his gun at Flag, immediately turns to the guy and he's like, whoa, wait. You know what I mean? Because he could have easily been like, yeah, fucking, let's just take Flag out. He's a punk ass. I thought it was super cool that Riggs stuck up for him.
Yeah. It kind of showed his character a little bit more.
Yeah. Like he was still doing it by the book, by the law, like he's supposed to. Because he could have easily just been like, fuck Flag, let's just kill him.
Yeah.
Well, so Brian saves Shawnee from the sewer.
Yes.
Or at least the encounter. They wreck the bike. They flee on foot. They run into Bill Moseley, who also has some exposition about like, I can't remember a lot of it, but it's basically like, oh, we fucked up and it's coming. We're fucking trapped.
Yeah.
And so they try to radio out to Meadows. And at this point, the whole town's kind of around. So like their comms are like speaking out loud, like in public. And Brian is very vocal and like, yo, we're still down here. We even have one of your guys. We got to get out. And Meadows is like, nope, this is the perfect containment. It's in the sewer. We're going to, whatever, contain it.
Seal it up.
Put a bow on it or whatever.
Yeah.
Wrap this up. Is very obviously like, we're going to leave them to die. We get the one-handed bazooka shot up the tunnel, which I was like, I don't know if that's possible. Good thing he had a fucking bazooka on him, by the way. Just like out of all the things, come on now. And it's there, that they get out, he nukes the manhole and the truck above it, and that alerts the town to kind of like the fuck, including Briggs. Brian makes his case. We enter middle of the third act, right? Like, we get the cool scene, we get the cool dialogue where like they try to fight it a little bit after it, while it's down there in the tunnel, they throw all sorts of like firepower at it and all this stuff, and he's like, I think we pissed it off. And this thing goes full ape shit. We get the full like reckoning of the Blob, busts on out, smashes that one dude who tries to go like full CCH pounder from Demon Knight, and go postal on this thing. And a cool bit to that, he goes down, pulls his pins, he gets smashed, and then after that, if you pay attention to the Blob, you see the two lights go off to show you like it was ineffective. I think that's a cool touch, because I just assumed it, like, if it had just muted all that and we didn't see it, I wouldn't have cared. Like, it wouldn't have made me see differently. But I thought it was cool that they show that as like, well, that didn't do nothing.
Well, real quick on that note, I'm not like a army guy. I don't know guns. I don't know weapons. I don't know like whatever the fuck. But like, if the Blob smashes dude and everything on him is pancaked, would it not have just blown up their grenades right on impact, as opposed to like absorbing him and then like waiting the fucking 10 seconds or whatever for it to like do the light effect inside? Wouldn't it not have just like on impact smash it? You know what I mean?
No, I mean, like, so unless it's like a direct impact grenade, which is like usually what you put on rifles or you shoot out of an actual grenade launcher, that wouldn't typically be the case with frag grenades. I mean, not to say that it couldn't go off, but it's not like the sheer force would set it off. Normally, there's a primer in the pin, so when you pull the pin, that releases the primer.
But
but with like direct impact, no, I don't think it would pop off. It'd be like,
that would seem weird to me.
That's like if you use a brick of C4, but you don't have anything to charge the brick, and it lands on, it's not going to explode, even though it is an explosive item.
Well, I imagine like if you have I don't know, like a tank, and you run over a grenade, would it not like crush the grenade, it explodes? Would it not do that?
I think it would just crush it. That's why they had to make mines.
Huh. Weird. Okay.
The more you know.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
The light effect is cooler, like ultimately. Like you said, it was
like,
dull
it's
and muted,
nice
it was stuck. But the quick little, because even Jackson noticed it, he's like, oh, it just whatever. Like, it was a cool effect. But yeah, go on.
Yeah.
I thought when the Blob smashes that guy and it blows everything out, I thought those were the grenades going off. Like, I didn't for initial viewing, I didn't realize like it was just like the pressure of the force of it like smashing the ground and like blowing everything out, like Soundwave style. I thought that was the grenades. And so then when you see it a second later, it's like, oh shit, that's just sheer force, sheer gravital force or whatever.
Physics.
This is also where we kind of get the worst bit of effects, right? Because it's like, how do you pull this off? So there's certainly a couple of shots where like things look very 1988 for what you're trying to do, but it's not like, to me, super distracting, right? Like, I think they do a pretty good job here.
No,
it's not bad. Between there and the theater, there's like a few spots where it's kind of like almost Jason Argonaut's kind of like stop motion, but it still works well enough to be like effective, because you see it just snatching people up and you're like, oh, there goes somebody. Oh, there goes somebody. I definitely enjoy that. So going back to the Bill Moseley bit real quick, where, they run into him. He's like, we couldn't stop it. It's coming after us. He mentions how like one of the dudes he was with got like sucked up by it, and he could hear him screaming from inside of it. And so it's like, oh
from
wow,
his comm, right? Is that when he,
I couldn't tell if it was from his comm or just from I could see like him dissolving in front, and I could hear him just like muffled through the thing. And it's like that's disturbing, like being able to hear him, but it's muffled because of how gelatinous it is. Which is another reason why I guess the grenades when they exploded, they didn't like throw chunks.
sure,
You know,
yeah.
it's like really dense, more like a taffy or like rubber maybe as like a density. But so we get to the very end where the dude's like, let's frag it. They throw a satchel charge in, it blows up, everything else. And then like it pops up and starts raining on the town. So Shawnee Smith deems it upon herself to grab another charge and like grabs a rifle and was just like, come get it, you son of a bitch. And starts shooting at it, trying to like draw it towards the tanker. And then he gets near the tanker and she sets off the charge, but she gets stuck, right? She gets her foot
on
caught.
a hose or something.
On a hose or whatever, yeah.
Rookie mistake, man. Rookie mistake. You don't just flop off, you jump off, okay? You don't just, it was terrible. But that kind of had me like not really worried, but kind of like, oh, so what are they gonna do? But then Flag randomly shows up and just like gets her down in like 2 seconds. They get away, the thing explodes.
Flag wrecks the truck as he drives
Right.
out. Flag wrecks it.
I didn't get that either.
Sets her up.
Why run your fucking vehicle at it? Like, it's weird.
Well, so
I mean, the freezing bit when it was at the town hall thing was pretty efficient.
It's
like,
the
it was
town
getting off
hall
there.
where they start, and we get another cool kill here with Briggs. It's the town hall where they kind of start putting together the like, it doesn't like the cold, we're gonna CO2 the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Briggs gets his end in a fucking gnarly backbreaking, like,
Yeah, dude.
staving off with the bookshelf, and then it pulls him at the waist and fucking folds this dude like a fucking lawn chair and rips him straight through the bookshelf.
Yeah, back of the head to the back of the feet.
It's one of the coolest kills that don't actually, like, it's not the Blob like jumping over him or like, it's one of the coolest like physical deaths, not Blob related, that we get in the fucking we get in the movie. Because as a kid, I was
no
like,
blood,
holy shit,
no blood, no gore, just a snap, crackle, and pop, and then
straight through the
shelf.
bookshelf or door.
And it's at a moment where like you've already, well, like to me, like I said, he stuck up for Flag, and I was like, okay, cool. Like this guy has redeemed himself in my book. He's being a policeman now, and he's generally caring for the populace. And then he gets killed, and you're like, shit, man. Like
Again,
and
subverting expectations.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And apparently that town only maybe has 2 fucking cops because
I was gonna ask that because there's only those 2.
Well,
now he's taking
on vacation.
There's a line when Herb Geller, before he goes to the diner and calls her coming in about some stuff, he says something to the dispatch lady or whatever that he's like, man, 1 deputy and 6 volunteers. He's like, it's going to be a long night.
Well, that's right.
So either it's a football game. So Friday night and everyone's like chilling or off, or it's really like lack of manpower. So you don't really know for sure. I assumed everybody was just like doing other things, but we don't get any other like civvies that are like, got to get the badge out, honey, shit to do. But again, Briggs gets killed. You know, the should be good guy gets fucking annihilated. And I think that's another cool, like, it's just up to these guys.
I still don't
Snowmaker.
I still don't get why Flag even drove the truck at it. Like, I think he rolls up and he starts like shooting the shit at it to like no effect or little effect or like whatever. But then to just ram it and then like to have it be as ineffective as it was. It's not even like it hits it, it starts to get pulled in, and you can like whatever. It like ramps up, rolls over, and like you said about Shawnee Smith goes all like, "Come and get me, motherfucker!" And then like, so while this thing is attacking the building and like trying to get her, because I think she's dodging some like thwips or like tentacles coming at her, whatever the fuck. Rick, which is upside down.
Brian.
God damn it! Fucking this sucks. Brian Flag.
Just call him Flag. It's the easiest.
I don't fucking whatever. He has time to get out of the upside down car, save her before this thing gets her and or the explosion goes off. Like it's very like down to the last second, like, you know, crunch time. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like,
yeah.
But driving is, if he had seen Shawnee with like the charge, right? And she's like, hey, we're gonna, right? And he's like, oh, got you, babe, right? And then like drive the truck near it to explode it. But there was
Right.
no way he would have known that she had a charge, and like ramming it would lead to doing that. Like it was just pure like last resort. I'm gonna ram it, and like maybe if it takes the tanker, it'll blow up. I don't know. Like it's a silly ending, but it's a really cool ending. So I'll give
Every
it that.
good
I think
action movie needs a ticking clock, Chris. Okay,
yeah.
even if there was
Like
a
I was
better,
gonna say
every good action movie needs a ticking clock, right?
Well, yeah, you're right. I
I was
guess.
gonna say he saw like she saved him because after the truck got flipped, like like a child with a toy, it starts to go after him, and then he's like almost getting crushed in the cab. That's when she gets on top, starts shooting it, and that's when it like starts going after her. So like I think he just assumed she had a plan, so he's like, I'm gonna help her, and he just stuck nearby until she failed, got stuck. But
Any plan is
it
better than no plan at this point. Like, you know what
yeah,
it's
for
impervious
people,
to.
for a bunch of like more or less like a dropout from high school and probably like a valedictorian of high school to be that heroic and progressive in the sense of like they got the fucking job done, and good for them, but that whole town got wrecked.
You don't hate really, like, you do root for these guys.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Meg's not a stuck up cheerleading bitch.
No.
Brian is edgy, but like cool. He's done some jail time, but you don't really know for what. So you don't think he's like an animal abuser or a wife beater or some shit. Like, you can
Yeah,
assume
or
it's
worse.
probably like, you know, juvenile bullshit that he's done time for. So everyone is, you do root for these guys. And I don't think it sets it up like these two are gonna like walk off into the sunset together. Like she's a level headed
No,
cheerleader.
right.
She's nice to everybody. He finally comes around. He gives a shit about somebody too, because mom's not around or whatever. You don't know that they like get together at the end. The ending, I agree, is a little loony, right? Like, so it does blast it into like perfect shards that everybody gets really good at sweeping up
Right.
across all of Main Street. We get Moss coming full circle, being like, "Told you it's gonna snow. It's time to have faith. I'm off to the bebop." Like,
Yeah.
I'm off, going to space now. Yeah, and then instead of where we think it's gonna end, the movie reminds us with a couple months later, a couple weeks later, whatever is going on, a year, maybe whatever. We are taking what I'm assuming is like the deep south, given the tent, church setup,
Sure.
and the pastor has held on to the thought out bits of the blob, and he gives some words about like judgment or some reckoning or some stuff like that. So I think it's implied he's like waiting for that sign from the man upstairs to let this shit out. Is that how you guys took that? Pretty open.
Yeah.
Like,
So like a couple months ago, I think I texted Derek, maybe both of you, about this. I caught the last maybe like 10 minutes of it on TV or something. So it goes to that scene, and I haven't seen this movie in well over a decade. So he's sitting there, and I'm realizing what you just said, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, is he like planning to do something with this? So I think I texted Derek because I knew Derek would have the answer. And you were like, yeah, he's like, he preached about reckoning, and because he's, she's like, when, Reverend? When's it going to happen? And he's like, oh, soon,
soon.
and then like
Pulls it
almost
out, marvels
stroking
at
his
it. Yeah.
like pointy beard that he doesn't have, you know what I mean? Like soon. And I was like, dude, did he mean this shit? And you were like, yeah, you didn't know that? And I was like, what the fuck? I don't think I ever caught that as a kid. Like, I
Yeah.
think I listened to whatever fucking sermon he was doing, and then I was like, okay, he just kind of stares at this thing in the glass jar all weird. But I was like, that's a cool, like, from the person you would expect it the least from. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the pastor that everyone in town seemingly got along with and like whatever. Turns out he's got some plans. So I thought that was super cool, man.
That actor Close, who played the Reverend, he's actually in the much later sequel to the original The Blob. So The Blob is 1958. Beware the Blob is like 1974.
Yeah.
I watched part of it.
Yeah.
It's absolute trash. Don't bother. He's
Yeah.
in
It's
the
like almost
sequel, and it's too bad this movie didn't get a sequel because, like, where would that have gone? In the
That would've been
original,
cool.
when they freeze it to death or whatever, they end up just dropping it in Antarctica, and then it like rolls credits. It is cool, like, to see that they wanted to do more with this. But yeah, like, cool, like, ambiguous, like, shit, what's gonna happen next? We never got it, but I think that's fucking cool, man. Like, these guys did
Yeah.
solid. These guys did a solid job. This movie kicks ass. It's underappreciated.
Well, you don't even know what they did with the mass of the Blob. He's just like, we got to get this to the cold storage unit before dawn.
Oh,
Okay,
that's true.
but what
Yeah,
the
you don't
fuck is
really
your
know what
plan?
they do with it.
What the fuck is your plan after that, dude? You have, I'm going to say, a couple 100 pounds, maybe more, of Blob ice crystals. What was your plan like after that? Like,
You
where are
can't turn
you
it back into
gonna?
the government because it's from the
No,
government.
it's from the government. Like,
They'll
so
just be
yeah,
like, thaw it out.
yeah, thaw a little bit at a time and try to like incinerate it in like a fire. I don't know. Like,
Like that's
how would
some
you even
Weyland
get rid of it?
Yutani shit. Like they'd be
Yeah,
after that thing.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even with like the ending you said with Flag and Shawnee Smith, yeah, I was so glad that there's no kiss at the end. There's no like, hey, my boyfriend just died, but we just saved our town
Yeah.
together, so let's like embrace and kiss. I think they give a hug, but it's like a hug that's we did it. We survived. We beat this fucking thing. We watched tons of people die. We finally did it. The ending, what you said, puts a bow on it across like all the boxes. So super cool.
Most definitely.
The Blob, I don't think we've talked about it. Looking it up, the Blob is actually composed primarily of something called methylcellulose, which is a thickening agent used in milkshakes. Probably not going to be drinking too much more of those. And maybe we've come a long way since then, but like I thought that was
Probably,
really
right.
interesting. I don't know if we gave enough credit to how the Blob looks, how it moves. I think there's a scene where you see it kind of like flip inside out, and it like kind of, or like a piece of it
It's
kind of
towards
like,
the end.
yeah. And I thought that was really cool because I think it maybe answers the question of like maybe this thing like cleans itself or something. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like make sure that it's like moving in and out, just annihilating everything that it touches, burning it or whatever. They did a really good fucking job selling this creature to its modern audience and making it kick ass.
Yeah, it's looks definitely like well, one, just the name of the Blob, you think like what the fuck? Like how could you
Right.
make this scary? It's probably gonna look stupid. But like the look you said, well, you said it's like gelatinous, right? It looks like if it wasn't corrosive, if you just dove into this, you would just like dive in and get stuck. There is no like swimming through the gel. You know what I mean? Like it looks
Yeah.
very like thick, dense.
Looks
Yeah,
heavy.
like the color is cool. If it was like in my head, you think like alien sci-fi slime could be green, right? Like it seems like in every cartoon and shit, green slime seems to be the thing. I think the red is dope. I think the red is super cool. And like it has shades of pink, kind of when it does like the inside flip thing, kind of like it's cleaning itself, like you said. Super cool. They made the blob look super awesome. And it's not until you get those big shots where it's big like a tidal wave and stuff like in the sewer and different stuff where it starts to look a little like meh. But yeah, super cool effect. I would shit my fucking pants if I saw anything that it did to any of those guys in that movie.
Oh yeah. Like there's no way I'd be rolling the hell out of there.
No,
Most definitely.
absolutely.
The special effects that were done for the Blob were done by a guy named I think it's Tony Gardner, who is a pretty well renowned like special effects artist. Actually, when you look him up, it actually says designer. It doesn't even say artist. It says designer. So this dude's like creating stuff from scratch and taking like great substantial leaps with everything because he's done a lot of work. I think he's done Chucky,
Ooh, that's cool.
The Addams Family, Return of the Living Dead. Like the dude's worked on a lot of stuff throughout
Classic.
film and TV, and he did a stellar job in creating this thing and bringing it to life, making it move around, roll around, kind of flip inside out, like morph shape. The bit in the sewer was a little weird. Like it was like an inside out, like Sarlacc pit. I didn't really like that. That looked kind of weird.
For sure.
But I definitely thought it was when it needed to be creepy or needed to morph in the right ways. It did it. It didn't look too cheesy. It didn't look terrible. It was awesome. So they did a really damn good job with it.
I actually did wonder for something that absorbs everything, why doesn't it absorb the water in the sewer? Why does it not carry water weight?
Ooh,
Um,
I didn't think about that.
like
It's a good
because
question.
it's literally underwater. And I'm not saying it would have like drained it all, like like a fucking pool or something, like drain it all, like absorbing it. But it did make me wonder, like it doesn't use water to add to its mass or anything. And I know like feeds off humans or whatever, right? But like I always thought that was interesting that it doesn't absorb the water. Um, to both your question and your fact, I think if behind the scenes, if you read about it, I think the original color was supposed to be green, and that I think
Nice.
that was like too cliche. If you notice when it lands,
Very.
clear, so it doesn't take on its red pink hue till it gets blood, and that like is the stain color that it carries
Makes
the
sense.
rest of the
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
And again, like super neat touch. These guys did a really good job of taking the movie seriously because again, like you said, this is probably a weird sell. Like, hey, we want to do a AAA feature of the Blob. Okay, like super B movie.
For sure.
It's got a title that fits right in with all the B movies of the 50s. I also think that this is a movie that would be again, assuming you got a team that took it seriously, and it doesn't need to be a $1 zillion budget, but put like love into the movie. This would be a cool movie to remake and update. And wasn't Rob Zombie attached to this at some point to remake?
Yeah, after his success with Halloween back in 07, he was like in talks or was rumored to do several remakes, including The Blob, which I wouldn't want it. I didn't want it back then. I don't want it now. And I think he was also in talks to do Chud, like a remake of Chud, which is another weird choice. But
are you saying you don't want Rob Zombie to do it, or you don't want to remake it all?
I don't want Rob Zombie's remake
yeah.
of The Blob. No,
That would have been wild.
Can you imagine the hellbilly dialogue to be coming out of that thing?
Jesus Christ. I'll agree with both of those statements. A remake, absolutely, because it's been longer now between the '88 remake. Well,
yeah, it has.
I guess we're going on a.
No, you're right.
Are we on
So,
almost 30 years, 4 years, whatever?
About
30 years between those two. It's been 37 years since that movie came out. So yeah, we're past that point.
We're well overdue. Yeah, but agree.
Yeah.
Zombie, I don't mind Zombie. I don't think he should do the remake of this one. There's other guys out there that could give it a cool spin. And especially since like body horror seems to be like making a jump lately, you know, like Companion, Together, Substance, all that different shit. Companion might not have been body horror, but whatever. Substance, Together, all this different stuff. Body horror seems to be kind of the thing nowadays. Like, I bet you someone really creative could make a super dope Blob movie. Was well overdue.
Yeah, it definitely is.
As a fun little question to throw out there, does the Blob clear like who does it lose to? Does the Blob clear like the Thing? Could it take on the things in the mist? Like where do you guys think it was in? Could it take the
It beats the Thing. It beats the Thing.
Fog.
It beats first off, it clears the fog, first off. Blake and his like band of like sea shanty merrymen, they're all dead. Okay. Blob's got them. Blob kills the Thing. Okay. As long as it's not in Antarctica, right? So they can't freeze, it definitely takes the Thing. The Thing can't.
I mean, well, yeah, the Thing is a living thing it's gonna do, but Blake and his men, come on.
The
they're
creatures
like
in the mist. The creatures in the mist don't stand a chance unless you're maybe like what do they call it? The behemoth or whatever, that big thing at the end. But even then, if the Blob got that, it's fucking game over for everyone.
Yeah,
to me,
the size of that thing alone.
I don't know what could beat the Blob. Because it just expands, right? And it just corrodes. Like, what could beat it? Be real here. You know what I mean? Like, you don't stand a fucking chance. The mist, the fog, what else we said? The Thing, all those guys, yeah, they're dead. So,
I mean, if it gets big enough, we can just get that kaiju, the freezing kaiju from Godzilla, and just have it fight that and be
right or whatever. You're right. That's the one thing that can beat it.
Whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm on board with the Thing, and I'm on board with the other thing. The fog, though, come on, man, no way. Like,
they're dead. What?
They're ghosts. What the hell is a Blob gonna do going through an apparition? It can't. It's gonna go right through it. And the things are like, what the hell is that thing moving around on the ground? Like,
Blake and his crewmates are gonna sit there with little like gutting hooks and be like, "Hey, let's get it!" Like, no, absolutely not. The Blake is gonna take the fog or fucking the Blob is gonna take Blake, all his men, the fucking ship they rode in on, and that whole town. No one stands a chance.
But okay, well, here's a better question: If the mist has all these different like creatures in it and that we've only seen a little bit, but we haven't seen all of them,
they're dead.
So What if in the mist there's a creature that can do the same shit as the blob? Then what's going to happen? Is it a stalemate? Is one going to win? No, it's dead. It's dead. You hear this? Your brother is dead. Shut up.
Well, not saying the mist couldn't have a gelatinous fucking nightmare fuel like that thing.
Fuck, everything else is nightmare fuel. So
if the blob
kind of assume
if the blob gets on any of those things, it absorbs it and they're dead. Like, I mean, there's nothing.
So it's
Pennywise, you're dead.
The dissolve rate's not fast, but it's not like in that what was that movie with that fucking alien Kelvin or whatever? Life?
Calvin.
Yeah.
Calvin. Yeah. Okay, so when that thing absorbs things, it does it really fucking quick. And you see it in the movie. Like, it goes after a rat, it does it instantly. When it goes after people, it just like starts to dissolve.
Does it do that? Does it absorb
Yeah.
this?
It goes in them and like sucks all their innards out and then like escapes out of those guys.
Blob still wins.
Not even a battle. But all right. So the blob being able to dissolve thing, what do you think's worse? Just like instantly dissolving or slowly being like digested inside this gelatinous ball of wonder? Because
give me the instant death.
If I'm any kind of living being and I see something, blobbing around, there's no fucking way I'm going near it, let alone getting around it. It may chase me, but like, could you guys outrun the blob? Like, do you think you could? Because like, I don't know how. I know its reach is far, but like, as for speed,
well, so we never really see it do that like tentacle shit until I think the diner, right? Well, no, I backtracked.
The theater, I think,
the really date raper kind of got like face hugged, and then like what, like whatever. But like when it was small, I feel like you could have got away from it.
I agree.
Given the chance, definitely as it got bigger and like would tentacle out, your chances are pretty slim. I think, unless you're in like a car, maybe, or I don't know. But the bigger it gets, the more fucked you are. Like, you really can't. Explosives don't work. You have to have something cold. I mean, if it got us at our houses, there's no way we could get out of that. You know what I mean? It's not like you can like hop in a freezer. It could just suck up the whole freezer. So I don't know. But like, okay, so that raises a question. So the walk-in freezer that Flag and Shawnee Smith go into, realistically, it's the size of maybe a small room. You know what I mean? If the blob took over the whole diner and got that freezer from the outside, does that, you know what I mean? Like, would it?
I think it would. Its mass would. It didn't get them because it wasn't big enough to do that. Now, if it was like the town size at the end, the size it was there at the end, and
it wouldn't have helped.
Could envelop something like that. It would have to have enough like of it to, grab the cold, like start flipping it inside out to like stave off the chill or whatever.
Right.
But that is a good, that is a good question. As we wind it down here, one of the things that I like that the blob is not painted as like a high IQ monster. There doesn't seem to be any sort of like intelligence to it or like wisdom or whatever. It's just a no bias kill feature. And I think that's one of the cool things about it. It's not like the audience doesn't have to think, what is it thinking? It just kills, and it kills indiscriminately, except for Meg a few times, whatever. But I like
that's one of the highlights of this movie.
It's
like you said,
it's not Calvin that you mentioned that can think and is conscious and sentient and that kind of thing. So I think it's one of the like strong features is that like you created a cool creature feature that like the graboids like isn't like learning and like whatever. I think that's a standout, and I wish that we got more of that. Create less thinking that the audience has to do. Just we see what it's doing, and that's all that it does. Fuck yes.
Sometimes the less sentient creatures are the better monsters for that fact that like you don't have to worry about like, oh, this guy avoided it because of plot armor or like whatever. This thing, the first people, and I guess it did kind of avoid Shawnee Smith like twice, like you said. Maybe it had like Paul was so big and it was so small, it had to digest.
That's exactly what, and like I think maybe it's like a novelization or something. It's something like that, or like a commentary on the DVD. They mentioned that, like it hadn't digested Paul yet, so it couldn't
for sure
get her. But that doesn't explain the sewer.
No, you're right. You're right. And even the water thing, it's like, because that's something I never thought about. Like, why would it not, like, whatever. But, final thoughts on this movie. This movie's great. And anyone who says different, I don't know that we can be friends. Like, I have loved this as a kid. Nick, we watched this a lot growing up. I knew this was going to be a cool episode when all three of us were willing to do this one. This holds a lot of memory in my heart and in my youth, and it's just great. I mean, I love it. Yeah. So, what about you, Derek?
Most definitely. Like I said, I remember watching it for the first time. It's always really stuck with me. I think when I came across it at Vintage, I snatched it up and I watch it almost at least once a year. It's just a good watch. It's a good little fun, like sci-fi horror movie to kind of get down to. And it's always a blast to watch, man. So it's always really cool to get down and enjoy the things that you love and the things that you kind of keep kind of coming back to and watchability, you know?
For sure. What about you, Nick? Final thoughts.
It's same. I'm gonna echo all of that. Cool kills, good acting, pretty bulletproof execution and like story, right? Like not a lot to like poke out or pick on. The effect work is cool. Cool team behind it, even though, you know, like it's 37 years, these guys all have different projects, you know, that carry their name or whatever. But cool team behind it. It looks like it was made with a lot of love. They took it just serious enough to keep it from like being a 50s B movie flop piece of shit.
Right.
If I'm gonna rate this film, I'm gonna go 4.5 stars. This is near perfection, I think.
Solid. 4.5's good.
Even if it's not
Derek,
everyone's
what about you?
thing, as far as execution, whatever, I think this is a 4.5 star film.
For sure. Derek.
I'm going to second that notion and go with 4.5, man. It's a solid movie. Like I said, rewatchability is awesome. Like the effects are awesome. Good time.
Cool.
4.5.
Man, fucking 10 stars, dude. Like, this is.
I fucking knew it. I knew it.
I'll give it 5. I'm gonna give it 5, dude. Like, I'm handing out 5s this month. I'm feeling generous. You know, this is
all right. Fair enough.
To be fair, because I think I am usually one to not dish out perfect ratings, as frivolous as I've been. These are all movies I either haven't seen or haven't seen in a really long time. Like Fog, I haven't seen in like 15 plus years. Conjuring was super cool. Late Night with the Devil is one of my favorite, I think, horror movies to come out in a while. This holds so much value. Dude, 5 stars. I mean, I'd fucking give it 10 if I could. Like, this is just great. You know,
Okay.
if the worst part about this movie, like I said, is maybe some of the tropes of that time, then really there's no complaint at all. This is a great film. And did you both own this one? Is that how you guys watched it?
I owned
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
DVD.
So listeners, this is not streaming, or at least actually might be on Shudder now.
It
but
is.
When I watched it,
It's free
when I watched
on,
it was not.
It's free on HBO Max. It's free on.
Is it on Max now?
It's on HBO Max. It's free on two things that I've never heard of: Philo and Plex. It's free on both of those, but it is behind a paywall. It is rentable on Amazon, Apple TV, Fandango, and Google Play.
Yeah. So if you wanna think outside the box office and watch this one, you might have to work for it a little bit. But like I guess Nick said, if you have HBO Max, it is on there. I think it's on Shudder now. It was
I'm sorry.
when I watched
the original. I'm sorry. I didn't read it fully. The original is free on HBO Max and those others.
Okay.
Sorry, that's my problem. I noted that.
No, you're good.
This
So I was like, man, how did I miss that?
rentable.
But you might have to work to rent this one. I actually called the vintage stock around me, and they did not have it. I think they had like a Blu-ray version, but it was brand new, and it was kind of more than I wanted to pay for. But like nothing in the area had it, so I actually had to rent it from Amazon, and it was super awesome. I think my boy liked it when he watched it with me. It was super cool. It holds a lot of value, and if you like hearing about us talk about movies and me dish out perfect ratings, then follow, like, subscribe. Derek, I see you right there acknowledging that. And check us out. Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music. We're out there. Don't be afraid to think outside the box office and check this out. It's great. And we will catch you next time.
I told you we'd get snow. You gotta have faith. What if I'm covered for this sort of thing? Dave, bring in the dump truck. We better get this thing to the ice house before dawn.